Live from the Score Atlanta television studios in North Atlanta, this is Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW Local 613.
All right, welcome to Monday's edition of the Sports Daily here in our Score Atlanta studios up in Roswell. Big weekend, Craig. I mean, you know, you had the softball championships, some of the volleyballs, because we got some volleyball today, right?
7.
And you'll talk about that in a second. And of course, we have really what I would call the final week, or basically the final week of the high school football season. We still have some makeup games this Friday. We will be doing a statewide football bracket show on Friday night. We decided that, you know, instead of doing a game on Friday night, that people would rather see a bracket show. So we're excited about that. We'll talk about all the brackets. Craig Sager, Najee Wilkins will be on Zoom with us. We'll have Rusty Mansell in the studio. So we will light this baby up at 8 o'clock on Friday night and have a bracket show. And I can tell you right now, I don't think that's ever been done, Craig, in the state. Real quickly, statewide selections, congratulations, you win it. Craig goes 11-4.
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. You win it. You go 11-4. I went 9-6. Should we tell everybody what Najee went? Under 500, 7-8. Najee, you with us? Bring Najee up. Is he hiding on Zoom? No, there he is. 7-8, Najee. What happened, baby?
Hey, man, one of them tough weeks, RJ. Not too much you can do. I had some upsets. They didn't pan out, man. Y'all kicking my butt.
That's all right. No, that's you know what? I like picking different things. What were we going to say?
Well, I told you that Warner Robins was going to beat Perry because Perry already had the region wrapped up, and I felt like they weren't going to go all out. So I got that one right. That was the difference between me and you, too.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the games, but let's get to the fast break headlines. The first one, softball state championships crown. Want to thank our guy in Macon, Seth Ellerby, who did a great job covering the state championships down in Columbus. It was a great 4 days. They had great weather, really good games. And, you know, a lot of people went down there and watched. And, you know, I think one of the things that we're trying to do here at Score Atlanta, especially on this show, Craig and Najee, is it's more about football, okay? It's about softball, all right? It's about volleyball. It's about cross country. We're going to have Sheriff Taylor from Gwinnett County on today. I mean, we're doing it all here. So make sure you tune in because you're going to get more than just football. Football is king in the state of Georgia, but it's not the only sport out there. So let's talk about the softball state championships real quickly. We'll start at the lower brackets. Wesleyan won the private division. There we go with the Wesleyan girls. And then in A Division I, it was Gordon Lee. I'll put a picture up of the Gordon Lee team. Congratulations to them. A Division II, it was Emmanuel County Institute. So we've got Emmanuel County. Is that Emmanuel County right there? That's Emmanuel County. That's and then 2A, we've got Morgan County. Congratulations to Morgan. 3A, Heritage Catoosa won the 3A championship. 4A, it was Harris County. And then 5A, it was Creekview. The Creekview girls won. And then, of course, let's talk a little bit about 6A. East Coweta beat Buford. All season it's been Buford and East Coweta trading number 1 and number 2 in Class 6A rankings, and it's fitting that the Wolves and Indians had to play 3 games in Columbus before the championship of the state's highest class was awarded. And after falling to the Wolves 1-0 in the first game of the championship series, basically forcing a do-or-die game, East Coweta won its 4th state championship after defeating 2-time defending state champion Buford 4-3. East Coweta had beaten Hillgrove. They beat, of course, Buford 2-0, Mill Creek 3-1 to earn the championship berth. Buford beat North Gwinnett 11-0, North Cobb 7-0, and Mill Creek 14-1 in the losers bracket to earn their title berth. The Indians won Class A 7A championship in 2017, 18, and 20, while Buford was trying for its 13th championship after winning 10 consecutive titles from 2007 to 2016, and of course each in the last 2 seasons when they were in 7A. We obviously don't have 7A anymore, but congratulations to East Coweta for winning the 6A, the top classification in the softball championships in Columbus. And Craig, we're going to go to you for the volleyball. We've got some volleyball championships.
Right. Championships always mean more when you beat a really good team. I think that's why East Coweta was so thrilled with that result. It reminds me of Milton kind of upsetting Walton last year. Just when you beat a quality opponent like a Buford or an undefeated team, that is a huge win for East Coweta. Unbelievable matchup. But in volleyball, real quick, we had 5 matchups on Saturday. We have 2 more today. There weren't really too many upsets. I thought the biggest result, though, was Jefferson, a team that early in the season, you look at 3A, not many people would have thought Jefferson would be able to get their first ever state title. They ended up sweeping Calhoun. You see an ace right there that in the second set, Calhoun actually took the lead, Jefferson rallied, and then they closed out a dominant third set. The serving was outstanding. Before the match, Jefferson actually had a player that had to get sent off to the EMT. She was not feeling well, and so it was a pretty hectic start for them, but they were poised, played with a lot of energy, and they had probably the biggest crowd the entire weekend. Not many schools bring a mascot to volleyball, so I was very impressed and happy for Jefferson. Sweeping Calhoun, that was 3A. In 2A, Morgan County swept Savannah Arts. So Morgan County actually had a great weekend. They won volleyball and softball. Hebron Christian, they won Class A private 3-1 over Mount Pisgah. And then the big result in Class 6A was Alpharetta sweeping North Cobb. They only dropped 6 sets this entire season. They were so dominant. Brooke Boyles, the senior, she was huge for them last year. She's played over 400 career matches. She led them in kills. She surpassed 200 career aces in the match, and it's just an impressive run for Alpharetta. They won 6A last year. They won 6A again this year. Now it's in the highest class, and I think they probably will be top 5 nationally, maybe even higher this week.
Well, and then I think, did you mention 5A and Pope? Did you mention Pope? Yeah,
yes.
Pope beat Woodward Academy, and that was big because, Pope ended up winning, but they had lost to Woodward, I think, earlier in the season.
That's right. So Pope lost to Woodward in September. Then they won 15 straight and then got the revenge against Woodward in the championship. And it was big for Pope because they lost last year to Alpharetta in the finals. It was a tough matchup where they beat Alpharetta in region play and then lost to them in the finals. So that was a great result for Pope to get back to that stage and then close out a very talented Woodward Academy team that was searching for its first state title since 2010. And that will be number 6 for Pope. Tonight, Pace Academy, they're going to play in the Class 4A matchup. They're going for an 8th straight championship. So we'll have more, and we'll also the final volleyball rankings this week.
Yeah, and then, we got the 1A finals tonight, and that's Gordon Lee.
And Elite Scholars.
What is Elite Scholars, by the way?
So it is, obviously volleyball is their best sport. They're out of Jonesboro. They've made the finals before in the A public classification, but this is the new one. It's just a consolidated Class A. So they've played, they don't really have a large region, but if you look at their schedule, they played all the Metro Atlanta powerhouses, started the season off below 500, but they've been absolutely dominant the last 20 matches. So I think it's going to be a close game, and athletically, they definitely can match up with Gordon Lee. I think it's what I saw. It is so important to have good serving in these championship games, and it's not just about speed, it's about placement. That's what sets up the entire point, the entire rally is the placement on the serve. So I think they just have to find the sweet spots, no faults, and I think they can do it.
All right, let's go to Najee. Najee's got our headline number 3.
All right, Colquitt County clinches their 3rd consecutive region title and knocks Richmond Hill outside of the playoffs. An incredible win for them at home. Deshaun Brown, he's going to be featured in my top performers this week. He had a touchdown run at the beginning of the game with a 74-yarder. Then he had a 1-yard touchdown, and then he broke the game with an 85-yard rushing touchdown. They simply did not have an answer for him. He dominated this game, and Richmond Hill, after having a great start and beating a really good team in Valdosta, this year, they will not make the playoffs after losing 3 of their final 4 games. And a little bit surprising, Colquitt County wins another region championship If Adalsa would have beat Lowndes, they would have ended up winning, man. But an incredible game for Colquitt County, and now they're region champions yet again.
And you've also got the Milton goes 10-0 for their first 10-0 start since 1952.
Yeah, so some historical significance for Milton. We know they won the state championship last year, but they're also trying to make history become, personal history for them, program history, winning back-to-back state championships for the first time ever. And they've done it this year, 10-0, first time since 1952. They've had some key players this year. TJ Lester went for over 1,000 yards this season. He's been incredible all year long. Hayden Tumania went for over 200 career tackles, also in the win. And right now they've had continual dominance over the sport. 20-game winning streak so far right now. They have a 39-game region winning streak, and they also have continued to win. Notable teams they beat: Buford, American Heritage, Blessed Trinity, Gainesville, Roswell. So an incredible, and then two of those were region champions in Buford and also BT.
And real quick, another team, North Oconee, 30 straight region victories for them. So it's Milton and North Oconee have the longest streaks in the state right now.
Yeah, and you know, coming up on Najee, we'll talk about this on the ratings, but our guys in the office, including yourself and Craig, did a really good job of putting the brackets together to give us an idea of what's going to happen at 6-5, 4A, and Class A Division II, because those are done just on the region games. So we'll talk about some of the matchups. We'll also tell you who we're going to be doing in a couple of weeks, less than a couple of weeks, a week from Friday, in our first round game in the playoffs. So we've got a lot coming up. We've got the sheriff from Gwinnett County. Feel really very, very safe in here today. With the sheriff in here with us. But we'll be right back on the Peachtree Sports Network.
Great teams are committed, focused on the details, and work hard to be their best. From practice to games, right down to their gear. Your field is a critical part of the game that allows your athletes to showcase their athletic abilities. Sports Turf is committed to bringing your team innovative sports surfaces with unparalleled performance. You bring the vision. Our team brings it to life.
The Georgia Sheet Metal JETC equips apprentices with the knowledge and skills required to start a rewarding career in the sheet metal industry with programs in HVAC, industrial welding, and testing, adjusting, and balancing. Training is 100% free and allows apprentices to earn as they learn. Journeymen graduate with no student debt and have the potential to earn more than most college graduates. Visit our website to learn more about this opportunity at careersinsheetmetal.com.
This makes my dad proud. He went through his whole career as an employee. Now I'm the employer, something he didn't achieve.
We are signatory to IBEW and do IBEW people wherever we go that we feel like they are faster and better than any of our competition.
The advantages of being a signatory contractor is you're trained employees. You have unlimited manpower. It allows me to bid on jobs that I ordinarily would not go after.
Man, you know how to do this? Man, I don't even know. I was flipping burgers last week.
Violation, unsportsmanlike conduct, impersonating a craftsman.
Skilled trade unions are well-trained career pros, not part-timers. Construction is a rewarding and lucrative career with the advancement potential, but you have to do it the right way with the right training. Learn how you can be a pro. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. Electrify your career.
All right, we're back on the Georgia High School Sports Daily right here at Peachtree TV, Peachtree Sports Network. You can also get us on the Atlanta News First app every day. We do an encore of this program every night on the Peachtree Sports Network at 11 o'clock. You can also pick us up digitally on Zeem, which is a CBS streaming portal. That's ZEAM, which has become bigger and bigger since we've started this program, and also on the National Federation High School Network. Also want to bring in a good friend of SCORE Atlanta, Sheriff Kibo Taylor from Gwinnett County. Sheriff, how you doing?
Doing great.
We're all right today, okay? We hadn't done anything.
Oh, we're good today.
Okay,
we're good. We're very good. How you been, man?
Good. I haven't seen you since the Sheriff's Cup, and it's always good seeing you. You do a great job of support and, of course, do a really good job of protecting the county.
Thank you so much.
But you've also got something big coming up. You've got the 4th annual Thanksgiving food giveaway. It's coming up this Thursday. And talk a little bit about, how that's going to work.
Sure. The giveaway, it started out, man, when we first started doing it, we was calling it the Turkey Drive, okay? Which is expanded from turkeys on. But when I got when I got elected back in 2020, we were right in the middle of COVID. So there was a lot of different things going on. People were experiencing a lot of financial hardships, and the idea was birthed. And my staff, I got great staff, man. They came in and they put together a nice plan and went out and got up with a lot of the different, partners outside, such as Purdue, Walmart, and a couple of others. And we have brought this thing to where it is today. But one thing that we understand is that there's still folks out here that are still having some economical challenges, and there's still a lot of food insecurity. So one thing that I'm very glad is that we've been able to do it every year since I've been in office, and we're really looking forward to this year to try to ease up folks' anxiety a little bit over the holidays.
Sure.
And make sure that they got a good meal.
Yeah, and Sheriff, I'm from Atlanta, and went to high school in DeKalb County back in the 70s when sort of DeKalb was the county in Metro Atlanta. Of course, that changed a lot. A lot of things pushed up to Gwinnett. But one of the things people don't realize about Gwinnett now, especially what's happened over the last, I would say, 10 years, is almost 50% of the kids that go to Gwinnett are on free lunch.
Yes.
Okay, which means that they're coming from homes that that need help, and we had some really good video of what the Thanksgiving food giveaway is all about. And but tell everybody, because that's really important for people to understand. The county demographics have changed over the last few years.
A lot of people, there's different images of a county, okay, whether it's Gwinnett County, DeKalb County, any other county. And sometimes, people see what they want you to see, okay? But there's, Gwinnett County is the best county in the state of Georgia, and
biggest county, yes.
It's one of the biggest. It's arguably, Sheriff Labatt and I, we argue all the time as to which one is actually the biggest. But arguably, we are at least the second largest county in the state of Georgia. It's very diverse. There's a lot of diversity out there. And, again, Gwinnett County is one of the most diverse counties in the nation. So when you have that, you're going to have, folks all up and down the whole economical range of folks that have, and then you're going to have people out here that are still struggling too. And you and I, we cover this back here doing, the Sheriff's Cup, and we talked about, that there's a lot of kids out here, if you can relate it back to the sports end of it, there's a lot of people that we had the scholarship into the GFL because their parents couldn't afford for them to play. And, and I saw it firsthand, as a coach for years and years and years in the GFL. There was times, man, we would have to come in and, pick up, registration fees, banquet fees, making sure that the kids had, foods and snacks and things, after practices and after the games. And, and sometimes, RJ, that goes beyond just that. When you see people out here, that are experiencing hardships, you get to know these families, you get to know these kids. And, some of them, man, and I've been so proud to say that they go on and they better their situations, but, it's not where we start the journey, it's how we finish it. And sometimes I'm just glad that I'm blessed to be in position to be able to, be a catalyst to help some of these kids move along, to where they can come back out and they're more self-sufficient, and hopefully they'll take on this attitude and become a giver
Give back.
themselves. Yes.
Tell everybody, though, as far as the giveaway, how they can participate on both sides, if there's a possibility.
We can give you the information if you want to volunteer. I can get that information to you. But basically, if you want to come out and get food, show up. Okay? Come out to 2405 Sugarloaf Parkway. That's in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Okay? And we'll start the giveaway at 11 o'clock. And it is scheduled to run from 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock, or until we give out all of the food, whichever one comes first.
So how many turkeys will y'all give away?
I don't know how many turkeys, but we'll have turkeys, we'll have roasters, and we'll have hams.
Oh, that's great.
We'll have enough for about 3,000 individual people to pick up. So it's grown every year, and I don't want to brag, but I do want to say this is one of the largest ones in the metro area.
Yeah, and
probably in the state.
And Atlanta always, the city of Atlanta, I think, does a really good job as well.
Absolutely.
As you guys in Gwinnett County. A lot of people don't realize that the difference between the two sort of police departments is that you handle the prison, you handle the jail. That's your responsibility. I want to ask you this question, okay? So on Thanksgiving, how do you handle the prison? I mean, how do you handle the prisoners? I mean, do they, get a Thanksgiving meal and everything?
We try to do a little something extra for them, okay?
Right.
Because they're still people, okay?
Right.
And it's not a prison, it's a detention center. The jail is pre-trial,
right?
Okay, meaning that these people have not been convicted. And so I've changed the culture of how we address them. Some of the things as far as force and other things inside, trying to make, upgrades inside of the system there to make it more livable for them also. Because, like I said, they're waiting, to see how their cases and the outcomes of their cases. So we try to do a little extra for them.
So they get a Thanksgiving meal?
Yes.
They do. Well, that's really good. So, tell me this, I know you've coached high school football, you've coached middle school football, and different things like that. Gwinnett County is going to be obviously well represented this year. I'm sort of sitting here looking at the Class A, 6A championships. Obviously, just looking at the different Gwinnett County teams. You got South Gwinnett, Peachtree Ridge is obviously in it, Decula. North Gwinnett's got a really good team this year. Brookwood, Archer, Mill Creek, is in it. I mean, it's amazing.
What about Collins Hill and Buford?
No, Collins Hill and Buford obviously are both in it too. I don't want to leave them out. Gwinnett continues to put out, if not the best, but certainly right at the top as far as high school football in the state. And I think that's very impressive. Consider about what we just talked about, and the fact that demographics have changed a little bit.
I think I kind of missed the boat on it for a while. Years ago, you saw back in the days of Brookwood, Parkview. Of course, Buford has always been that school, okay? I misstepped. I said that because of the number of high schools that was in Gwinnett County, that we were not going to see no more championships come up out of Gwinnett County because there's just so many high schools. And so when you're competing against some of these other counties to where, they may have one, maybe two high schools like down in Lowndes County, where you got Lowndes County and Valdosta. I felt like, with the dilution of the talent that it would be tough. But man, these coaches out here, they're doing a fantastic job. And every year it seems like somebody from Gwinnett County is making their way into the playoffs, deep into the playoffs, and are winning championships. So, when you look at it, one, Gwinnett County is a great place to bring your talent if you got a kid that can play, okay? Two, great coaches here, all up and down the board here. And I got to say this, too, because you know how I am with the GFL, okay? We'll mention them. They do a fantastic job with the feeder program.
Right.
And I've always said that your feeder program is your strongest.
Your lifeline.
It's your lifeline. So when you got good coaching, good, administrators there, a good system to where these kids are learning football, good fundamental football, coming up, then it's a good breeding ground for what you're going to have at the high school. And so, we see it. I'm very happy for it. I'm sorry that I've not made it to many games in the last couple of years. Been kind of busy. But I'm an advocate, stunt supporter of these kids and anything that we can do out here with them. And I know we're here to talk about the food, but, the Sheriff Cup to me is very important.
It is.
It's extremely important. And it's just our way of staying connected with these kids, to try to do the best we can for as many of them as we can. So.
And we'll talk, obviously down the road about the 4th year, which will be coming up in August for the Sheriff's Cup. But one more time, Gwinnett County Sheriff Kebo Taylor on Thursday, 2405 Sugarloaf Parkway, 11 to 4. It's their Thanksgiving food giveaway. And we appreciate you coming on, Sheriff. We always love you coming into the studio. Always love dealing with the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Department.
Get there early. Tell people to get there early because they start to line up at about 8:30. Make sure your cars are gassed up good. Got a little water. We'll have water.
Because they're going to be in line.
Oh, yeah. You're going to be in line for a minute.
And you can give out water, right? Because we had the Larry David show. Curb your enthusiasm on giving water in the voting lines. That's one. We went and saw Larry David a couple of weeks ago, and that's all he could talk about.
Really?
Yeah, he was at the Fox, and he talked about, of course, anyway. Well, listen, Sheriff, we love you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming by.
And thank you for what you're doing, RJ.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you and what you do and how you give back and, how you participate. And, and I can tell you genuinely care about these kids. So
we do.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
We do. Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to be right back on the Georgia High School Sports Daily on the Peachtree Sports Network.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is presented by GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. Transform your future today. And by Smart Local 85. Sheet metal is a smart move.
All right, we're back here, the Georgia High School Sports Daily on the Peachtree Sports Network. Both myself and Craig Sager want to thank Sheriff Kibo, who came in and talked about their annual Thanksgiving food giveaway. We'll be giving you updates on that all week long. And don't forget, it's Thursday from 11 to 4, and you can go by 2405 Sugarloaf Parkway. And if you need it, please go by, because they've got the food for you. And we know a lot of families could use the extra help this holiday season. I want to bring in Tim Scott, the Executive Director of the Georgia High School Association. Tim is with us every Monday. Tim, how you doing?
Hey, doing great, Ajay. How are you guys?
So coming off a big week for you guys, we're right in the thick of it with you as far as the volleyball and the softball championships. We still got a couple of games for the volleyball and state championship tonight, later this afternoon. But the softball championships sound like, Tim, they were a real winner. A lot of people went down to Columbus, and you couldn't ask for anything better in that 6A game between East Coweta and Buford.
Oh, man, there was a huge crowd for that game. And, Buford won the first one and then forced the second game. And talented athletes. You got young ladies committed to a lot of SEC schools there that were playing there. And it's a very exciting matchup. I want to take my hat off to the city of Columbus and the Columbus Sports Council, as well as their Parks and Rec, for partnering with us and helping us get through the tournament. But it was an exciting time.
Well, I'll tell you the other thing, Tim, it's nice because, I was at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution in '96 when we had the Olympics. I was on the road with the Braves for a month, so I didn't get to cover the Olympics, but I got a chance to certainly watch it and hear about it from my family. But Tim, it's nice to see an Olympic venue still used.
Yes.
That's that venue itself has really done well. It's just a smart move by the Atlanta Olympic Committee, and 30 years later, it's still being used.
Oh, yeah. And matter of fact, while we were there this weekend, we booked it for next year. So we're excited to be back. But it's a great venue for our kids to play in and compete in, man.
And the volleyball championships seem to go real well. Alpharetta, I don't think any surprise there, winning the top classification. Pope winning 5A. Yeah. But, you've got a couple of games left tonight. But it sounds like volleyball went real well, as like softball.
Yes, it did. But a big one tonight with Pace and Cartersville. That's right in their backyard, and we expect a big crowd there tonight for that game. Of course, Gordon Lee and Elite Scholars are playing as well. And the Jefferson team in volleyball was a really, really tough team too. And they won it as well over the weekend.
Tim, let's talk about the football brackets, because we're working on them. We've got a bracket show on Friday night, and I know our staff has been working really hard. So this is a situation right now. We've got 6A, 5A, 4A, Class A Division II. Those brackets are totally made on the region wins and losses, correct?
Right.
Okay, and then the regions have their own tiebreakers, which they deal with. So for the most part, a lot of those seedings are done, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Now, explain to everybody else how the other, the 3, 2, obviously the private school division, 3A, 1A, and then of course you got 1A Division 1. Explain to everybody how that's going to work this weekend, because you still got these makeup games, and that's obviously done on strength of schedule and point total and that.
Yeah, we will have the makeup games this weekend, and I believe we have most of the games, I think all the games probably, that are dealing with postseason rankings. They're going to play Saturday afternoon instead of having a 7:30 kickoff or something like that. It'll be more of an afternoon kickoff. So hopefully we can get those posted. But again, we're using the rankings. We have to get all the scores in and just see where everybody is according to the formula, and then put them in, in place. And our goal is to late Saturday night have all those completed.
And then, Tim, in regards to the first round, how is that going to be split up with the Friday, Saturdays?
So right now, the only teams that are playing on Saturday night, that's the 16th, will be Division II, Single A Division II play on Saturday night. Everyone else is pretty much going to be on Friday night. We do have some exceptions where maybe teams are sharing a stadium. Mm-hmm. And they have to, decide who's playing Friday, who's playing Saturday, that kind of thing. But other than that, they'll be on Friday night.
Yeah, and Tim, a lot of people don't realize that, you can sit here and look at these region schedules and everything, but the formula is different and it accounts for different things. So when y'all do get done with the seedings on Saturday, I think some people are going to be a little surprised where they're seated.
Yeah, that could happen, and of course it's the first year and we're getting through it, but we're excited to see what happens. And it's one of those things where coaches, they always want to start preparing, and you got guys now that probably want to prepare and the season's not even over with yet, but they're trying to see who they're going to play. Yeah, but it might come down who they think they're playing and who they actually have to play could be different.
Well, and I'm sitting here looking, Tim, at the 6A in the 5A, and I think that there's no doubt that taking out 7A and moving it down, especially in the 5, even the 4, 5, and 6A, has created a lot better first-round games. I can't remember, and Craig, we've been doing this for a long time. You got, I'll give you an example. You've got Mill Creek playing Douglas County. You never saw that before, okay? You just, basically before, when you had the 7A classification, you had a lot of blowouts in the first round. But there are some excellent first-round games. I mean, Valdosta's got to come up and play Walton, which I think is going to be really interesting. You've got, North Paulding playing Lowndes. So you just got a lot of, I think it's going to be a much better first round with the moving away 7A and sort of moving everybody down into that 6, 5, and 4A classification.
Oh, absolutely. We're excited about some of the matchups this first weekend brings.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be really good. So expectations, for the most part, you're going to have the brackets out Friday, okay, for 6A, 5A, 4A, obviously Class A, Division II. And they'll be coming out a lot this week, so people get a pretty good idea. There's a couple of, I think that Newton and Grayson play on Saturday, so that whoever wins that game is going to win that region. So there are a few things at the top classification.
Right.
What time can we expect to see that bracket, do you think, on Saturday for everybody else?
Well, we're hoping to get it out, not too late Saturday evening. Just depends on how quick we can get all the scores in and get everything figured. But our goal is, if we can get it out before everybody gets in bed on Saturday night, that would be a highlight for us. And of course, that being the first time we've done it, and we're just going to have to make sure we get all the scores and follow all those games that are played on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and you want to make sure that you get it right. We don't want to forget, Tim, we got the cross-country championships later this week. We'll be covering those. I know you guys will be heavily involved in getting all that going. Tim, I want to thank you again. We'll be checking in with you next Monday. We'll be able to get a good look at all the brackets for football and also the results of these volleyball games that are left tonight and the cross-country championships. But as always, Tim, we want to thank you for stopping by.
Hey, thanks, IJ. Have a good one.
You too. And, Tim does a great job, obviously new with being the executive director of the Georgia High School Association. Dr. Robin Hines is still, consulting for them. I think that combination is a really good one. All right, we've got a lot coming up. We're going to have Todd Holcomb, our usual check-in with him. You are watching the Peachtree Sports Network.
Dang, where you get this car? You need to join the union.
The union?
Absolutely. You can get 10 of these.
Union construction workers earn the highest wages with the best benefits and the most protection in the construction industry. Find your career in construction. Go to GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com and start your future today.
A journeyman with Local 85, when you turn out, you can be hitting six figures.
Hey, I have your back, you have my back. We're gonna do this together. We're one for all for one.
College just wasn't for me. Let's look into actual career jobs that wouldn't take college, where I wouldn't, lose money and all that. Instead of losing a lot more money at the end, why not make money and make more money at the end?
The Mechanical Trades Institute is an opportunity towards personal financial freedom through hands-on and rewarding work. Our school is completely free and gives apprentices the knowledge and skills required to gain access to a lifelong career path. Apprentices learn pipe fitting, plumbing, mechanical service, and welding. They earn money as they learn and graduate with no student debt. Start a career with the Mechanical Trades Institute and change your financial future.
What happens after you graduate? Will you go to the next level? Will people have your back in the heat of the battle? Will you still train like a champion in pursuit of greatness? You will when you become an IBEW electrician. Join our team. Visit IBEW613.org.
All right, we're back on the Georgia High School Sports Daily. We are here every day from noon to 1, Monday through Friday. Want to bring on Todd Holcomb, our friend from the Georgia High School Football Daily, which does a great job every morning. About 4 o'clock, you can get up early with coffee and get your dose of Todd Holcomb and Chip Say. And Todd, first thing I wanted to talk about with you was the 4 games that you had in there that are basically going to decide region titles this weekend. The big one, of course, on Saturday being Grayson and Newton, and that will have a lot of effect on the 6A brackets. We've also got Burke County and Thompson, Hapeville Charter, and Carver Atlanta, as well as Telfair County and Wilcox County. So, Todd, you've got 4 good ones that we still got left to decide the region titles. And we'll also talk about a little bit how the other the Class 1A, Division I, and Division II will also be decided.
Yeah, we've only got about 50 games this week. I think we usually have about 180, as y'all know, probably better than anybody since you're tracking them down live on Friday nights. But fortunately, we got about 4 that, yeah, like you said, are for region titles. I mean, in Metro Atlanta, most of these games this week are going to be in South Georgia, Augusta area, where the hurricane, did the most damage. But we got a pretty good one in Atlanta, Hapeville Charter, Carver of Atlanta. And I mean, those are 2 teams that, could make a serious run in Class 2A, because that's not a class with a clear-cut leader. And I really like Carver Atlanta in particular. I think Hapeville's a little banged up, but that's, the best game in Atlanta. But yeah, some other good ones, Burke County and Thompson, they're both contenders as well. And then it looks like Grayson and Newton will play for that championship.
And we talked a little bit about the region championships in Region 1A, Division I, and 2A, Division II will be decided by games involving non-contenders this week. In Region 2A, Division II, Irwin County and Brooks County can win depending on the outcome of Clinch County's game with Charlton. If Clinch wins, Brooks is the champion. Irwin wins the title. If Charlton wins, well, I'll tell you what, we just got off the phone with Tim Scott, Todd, and I mean, it's going to be an interesting Saturday for the Georgia High School Association, because this is the first year that they've done it like this with the power rankings and everything. And, they've got to make sure they're right, because, there's a lot of numbers that have got to be put together.
Yeah, because so you've got 8 classifications, and 4 of them are being determined like they've historically been done. And those 4 classes, 6A, 5A, 4A, and then 1 Division II, most of the teams know who they're going to play. I mean, in the highest classification, I think there's only
yeah, we're waiting for Grayson. We got to wait for that Grayson Newton game.
yeah, that one region. All the other matchups are set. So the point is, if you're in one of those classifications, you can already start calling the coach on the other team and setting things up. But if you're in the other 4 classes where they're basing it on the points, you can't even guess. I mean, you can have a kind of a wild guess because you don't know how it's going to fall. They have to wait. And there's some games on Saturday, I believe. So they may not officially be able to come out with a bracket until Sunday. Because I'm sure Dr. Scott helps you.
Tim said they're going to try to get it done, Todd, Saturday night. So hopefully we'll see. I mean,
yes.
it's one of the things, and I know Tim and the GHSA knows this, they got to make sure that when they put them out, they're correct. So
that's right. And I mean,
them come out Sunday to make sure they're right.
Right. And the thing is, it's kind of an intricate little point system they're using. So if they have a score wrong, and it doesn't have to be, a team that knows in the playoffs. It could be a team that, just 2 teams that are 2 and 7 playing each other. You get the score backwards, which is easy to do. It's hard to find those scores, Friday night. That could affect how the point system works because your rating is based on your opponent's record and your opponent's record. So look, they just have to, like you said, you have to make sure the math is right, all the scores are correct, or else they'll have to correct it.
Before we get to your segment, Saying Ain't So, I do want to ask you, Todd, I do feel strongly that the elimination of Class 7A has put us in a situation where we've got better first-round games. I mean, it's been very hard, especially because we've got to choose a TV game to choose. Typically, it's just, it's hard because, before everything was so scattered to get a competitive game. But there's no better example of Mill Creek and Douglas County playing in the first round. I mean, that's, Craig. I mean, that's, Todd, that's a heck of a matchup.
Well, you're right. And of course, Douglas County was one of those teams that moved up from 6A. I'm not sure if it was exactly for the reason of the reclass, but more teams are in the highest classification now, which makes it deeper. I think 6, 5, and 4 are definitely deeper. Some of the 3, 2, 3 and 2 may not be because they're especially 2 because they're losing a lot of those private schools teams that are going to be evacuating, leaving for the private division. But you're right; those upper 3 classes are much deeper.
Yeah, Craig. Todd, speaking of Class 2A, I thought it was a crazy week for that. You had Pierce County, they were number 1, they lost, and then Morgan County lost to Callaway. So in terms of the classifications kind of opening up, do you feel like Class 2A this last week really made things interesting?
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, I don't know who to put number 1. I don't know who's going to win it. I mean, that's the hardest one to pick now. I just talked to Appling County's, coach this morning, and he didn't seem to think, he felt like, well, we might as well be one. And who else, because you had 2 teams that were undefeated. They were 1 or 2, Pierce County, Morgan County. They both lost. They lost to good teams. They lost to Callaway, Appling County. Appling has beaten Pierce 3 times in a row. You got Carver Columbus. And I talked a little bit before about Carver Atlanta, that I think is real good. Rockmart, finalist last year. Burke County hadn't been talked about because they've part of the storm. They haven't played as much of a schedule. They're playing makeup. So yeah, a lot of really good teams in that class.
And Todd, real quickly, because I want to get to the flag football player of the week. Brookwood ends up beating Norcross 25-13. What a great comeback this season. Brookwood started 1-3 overall. They lost at Corky, 0-1 in the region. They've won their last 6. They end up finishing second in that region in Class 6A. They get to host a home game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean they're one of the better stories of finishing out strong and in a tough region there with Norcross and North Gwinnett. So if you can finish, and also Peachtree Ridge. So if you can finish second there, it's good. Have this great sophomore running back, Tyson. You might have to help me with his name.
Braden.
But there you go. So yeah, he's leading. I think he's close to 2,000 yards, and he's leading the highest classification in rushing, just a sophomore. So they're a tough team. That's one of the best teams they've had the last 4 or 5 years.
Todd, real quickly, because we got to get through this. Flag football player of the week, Chelsea. Do you know how to pronounce her? Is it Noku? I think it's McEachern. I think it might be Noju. Anyway, quarterback at McEachern. She's the GHSF Daily Flag Football Player of the Week. We're proud at Score Atlanta to sponsor this. She was 67 of 103 passing for 884 yards and 15 touchdowns last week as McEachern beat Osborne 34-0, South Cobb 13-0, Hughes 25-0, and Walton 46-7. They're now 11-0 on the season, so we want to congratulate her for that. And Todd, real quickly, tell everybody how they can sign up for the Daily every morning.
Find us online, do the Google, do the search, Georgia High School Football Daily. We've got a nice website, but try to get our newsletter, sign up for it. There's a subscription link on that webpage, and get us every morning. It's free, 4 a.m. in the morning, a nice long newsletter with all the high school football you could want to hear about.
Yeah, and Todd, Chip Say, and Ted Langford do a great job. Todd, want to thank you. We're going to have you on the show. You're going to get a call from me because we got a bracket show on Friday night from 8 to 11. So I know you're going to be by your computer, so we'll have you on, all right?
Great. I'll be around.
Thanks, Todd. All right, we're going to be right back with the rankings on the Georgia High School Sports Daily.
How did you vote on Prop 36? 2-on-2.
No time for these rankings.
All right, testing 1, 2, 3. All right, welcome back to the Georgia High School Sports Daily right here on the Peachtree Sports Network every day, Monday through Friday, noon to 1, Encore Edition, 11 o'clock, Monday through Thursday, and then, of course, after our game on Friday. And don't forget, we've got our big bracket show this Friday from 8 to 11. We'll talk a little bit about the brackets right now. Got Craig Sager, Najee Wilkins on the line. Let's go to 6A. Not a tremendous amount of changes, although there was a loss. Douglas County ended up beating them. Craig, you see, you pretty much kept them same position. They
moving
dropped
down
from
4 to 6.
To 4 to 6.
They had another loss. There is kind of a lot of pressure this week. This is almost like the end of the regular season pre-playoff rankings. So Douglas County dropped after the loss to Carrollton. That was a, I think, 49-28 loss. Collins Hill and Grayson both moved up one spot. North Cobb has been number 7 the last few weeks, and then Mill Creek fell down to number 10, put Colquitt back in it, Lowndes is back in it, Valdosta and Richmond Hill are out. The thing to keep in mind, though, is how close these teams have played. The Collins Hill, Grayson, and Mill Creek. Mill Creek barely lost to Collins Hill. Collins Hill beat Grayson by a point. So that's how dangerous Mill Creek is. They've gone toe-to-toe with number 4 and 5.
Well, and I'll tell you, let's bring Najee in here for this as well. What's really interesting about this, and this would not have happened if we still had the 7A classification, but you've got 2 top 10 teams that are going to play in the first round, which I don't think has happened in years. You've got Mill Creek and Douglas County. Mill Creek's going to have to travel over to Douglas County. That should be a really good first round game. The other thing is Grayson, okay, has not won the region title yet. They play Saturday against Newton. The winner of that game will win that region, and that should be a pretty good football team. This right here, Colquitt County, is the surprise. They lost some tough games early in the year. They played some really good teams. They have come back really strong. They are the winner of that region down south, so they get to host the first 2 games for sure if they win. So I'll tell you what, you've got a really good 6A bracket moving forward. Let's go down to 5A and go to Najee.
Yeah, so, excuse me. So in 5A, guys, so the big changes here, I've ranked Brunswick for the first time all season long. They beat South Effingham 57-20. All right, I also ranked in there Woodward Academy, put them in at number 6. They had another dominant victory. Landon Walker had 3 touchdowns in that game. Had to put them in there. Coffee and Houston County dropped out. Houston County suffered another loss, so dropped them out of there. And then, obviously, I moved up Rome a little bit. And then I got Gainesville at 9. So I still think Gainesville is a top team. I just think it's very top-heavy with Hughes, Thomas County Central, Lee County, and Milton.
Yeah, let's go to 4A.
4A, I'll be real quick. There's a new team, number 9, Stockbridge, 9-1. They won that region. I think they're a team that has earned their spot in the top 10, so I wanted to put them in right before the playoffs.
Well, and I'll tell you what's really interesting about this one is Marist, okay, is going to end up hosting Warner Robins. Now, Warner Robins is not a top 10 team right now, but they're going to go up and play Marist, all right, who a lot of people has either number 1 or number 2. That's not going to be an easy game for them, so that's going to be interesting. Let's go down to the 3A rankings.
Yeah, 3A was a crazy week, IJ. Douglas, Atlanta lost. Jefferson lost. LaGrange lost. So some major factors there. Oconee County is ranked first for the first time in the Score Atlanta poll. They beat Jefferson 32-30 overtime victory. That's the major changes.
Yeah, and remember, this bracket right here will be decided by points. Yep. Okay, so we will not know who 3A teams will be playing until Saturday night. Let's go down to 2A.
I have a new number 1 in Class 2A. That's Carver Columbus. We mentioned Appling County beat Pierce, and then the other one was Morgan County got beat by Callaway. So Callaway moved up to 3. Appling County moved up to 2. I put Pierce at 4, Morgan County at 5. But Carver Columbus has taken over number 1. I've been wanting to do it all season long, but number 1 and number 2 lost, so it's a perfect opportunity.
All right, let's go down to 1A Division 1. All right.
Yeah, Yes, sir. I didn't want to penalize Toombs County too much. They played a really good defensive game, probably the toughest game Savannah Christians played all year. So they didn't want to punish them too much. Dublin looked impressive. They handed Dodge County another loss, so got them at the top of the rankings as well. I moved up Thomasville as well, IJ, and Commerce, and then I worked Heard County for the first time as well. So some major changes here.
Yeah, let's go. I'm sorry, Najee, for cutting you off. We just got to get to it. Let's go to Division 2 real quick.
Yeah, here's same kind of thing. Manchester had some big wins. Got them at number 1. Moved Greene County down a little bit, and then Treon as well.
And we'll also have the matchups for that, and then real quickly the private rankings.
Prince jumped Hebron for number 2.
Yeah, and that's it. So listen, coming up, we got a great show on Friday night. We're going to do brackets from 8 until 11. We'll be on the rest of the week. We got great stuff all week right here on the Peachtree Sports Network.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
Beginning the morning you opened your eyes, we spent every waking moment preparing you for the day you'd leave our nest. Whether it's driving to practice or helping with homework, it's all prepared you for, what am I going to be when I grow up? Will you be ready?
After much thought, I made my decision to take my talents to the IBEW Local 613.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is not simply a job, it's a career. Visit IBEW613.org to begin a new future today.